Day 7 of the 100 Days 100 Books Challenge marks the beginning of a life-changing journey that will empower you to grow and transform in various aspects of your life. This includes your mindset, finances, discipline, career, relationships, startups, psychology, productivity, communication skills, and marketing. The Art of Thinking Clearly by Rolf Dobelli. The hiccups in our everyday thinking. A compelling exploration of the common cognitive biases and errors that plague our everyday decision-making processes, drawing from various disciplines including psychology, economics, and social science. Dobelli provides readers with insights into the subconscious traps that hinder clear thinking. From confirmation bias to hindsight bias, each chapter delves into a specific hiccup in our thinking, offering practical strategies to overcome them and make more rational choices. Through engaging anecdotes, Dobelli illustrates how these mental shortcuts can lead to costly mistakes in both personal and professional spheres. With its accessible style and valuable lessons, this book serves as an indispensable guide for anyone seeking to enhance their critical thinking skills and navigate the complexities of modern life with clarity and insight. Number 1. Cognitive errors originate from both evolutionary factors and our individual experiences. A cognitive error occurs when we fail to thoroughly analyze situations before drawing conclusions. These errors are ingrained in our thinking patterns, occurring systematically rather than randomly. Interestingly, we often unconsciously adopt these errors from childhood, and our brains automatically default to them when faced with similar situations. For instance, a prevalent cognitive error involves overestimating our knowledge rather than underestimating it, a mistake many of us are prone to making. We tend to believe we possess comprehensive knowledge on topics we were once educated in. The true extent of our misjudgment becomes apparent only when we put our knowledge into practice. For instance, many educated couples enter marriage confident in their parenting abilities, only to discover their lack of preparedness for the challenges of raising children. Our thinking errors often stem from evolutionary adaptations and the environments in which we were raised, as well as our individual life experiences. Most of our thinking errors evolved during the hunter-gatherer stage of human development, proving beneficial then, but often holding little value in the complexities of the modern world. In the subsequent sections of this summary, we will explore some of the most common cognitive errors and strategies to mitigate their impact on your life. There are known knowns, there are known unknowns, and there are unknown unknowns. Number 2. Survivorship bias elucidates why success appears easier than it truly is. The media bears a significant responsibility for perpetuating this bias by predominantly highlighting stories of successful individuals. Rarely do we encounter narratives of failure unless the individual is influential or comes from a notable background. The media consistently celebrates tales of individuals who transition from adversity to prosperity, fostering the misconception that success is readily attainable. However, what often goes unnoticed is the multitude of individuals who attempted the same journey but faltered along the way. For every successful person, countless others faced setbacks or achieved modest successes that never garnered attention. This reality doesn't render success unattainable, rather, it underscores the underestimation of the effort required to achieve it. Despite assertions to the contrary, not everyone will achieve stardom, some may perish in pursuit of it. Survivorship bias involves the tendency to focus on the entities that emerged successful from a selection process, while overlooking those that did not. To counter survivorship bias effectively, one must venture beyond the spotlight of success stories and explore the realm of failed endeavors, those consigned to obscurity or intentionally overlooked by the media. Rather than solely fixating on success, there's value in studying those who failed despite investing significant effort and resources. By learning from their experiences, we can mitigate the effects of bias. Did you know? Merely because you succeeded following a particular set of practices doesn't necessarily signify a universal success formula. Often, success may be attributable to chance rather than a replicable principle. A principle is only valid when others can replicate it to achieve comparable outcomes. Number 3. Social proof isn't always reliable. Conduct your own research. There's an inherent inclination to follow the crowd due to our reliance on numbers as a form of validation. When a significant number of people endorse a product, we tend to assume its quality based on the sheer volume of buyers. Marketers and leaders are keenly aware of this psychological bias and leverage it to promote their products or causes. While numbers often lead us to truth, there are exceptions, and caution is necessary in such cases. If 50 million people say something foolish, it remains foolish. Social proof served a crucial purpose in ancient times when humans relied heavily on each other for information and protection. In situations of perceived danger, following the actions of others was often the wisest course of action. However, these instincts, inherited from our ancestors, are less relevant in contemporary society. Thus, it's imperative to scrutinize information independently rather than blindly following the crowd. Always conduct your own research rather than being swayed by popularity. Number 4. Embrace letting go when, despite your best efforts, things refuse to improve. Have you ever encountered someone persisting in a romantic relationship despite enduring repeated hurt? It's a common scenario. When questioned about their reluctance to end an unfulfilling relationship, individuals often cite their extensive investment as a reason for persevering. This cognitive error is known as the sunk cost fallacy, an erroneous belief that compels continued commitment due to past investments. The sunk cost fallacy transcends relationships and manifests in various aspects of our lives. For instance, staying through an unenjoyable movie at the cinema simply because of the money already spent exemplifies this fallacy. You're ensnared in the sunk cost fallacy when you prioritize consistency solely due to previous investments of time, energy, or money. To counteract this thinking error, it's crucial to assess the future prospects of the endeavor in which you've invested significantly. Does the relationship exhibit potential for improvement? Is there reason to believe the stock will rebound? Would watching the remainder of the movie squander valuable time that could be allocated to more productive activities? Always evaluate future outcomes and base your decisions on prospective benefits or losses rather than past investments. Number 5. When on the verge of making a decision, outline your desires and adhere to them. The abundance of choices can render decision-making daunting. While having options is beneficial, there's a threshold beyond which decision-making becomes arduous, a phenomenon termed the paradox of choice. In our evolved society, secondary and tertiary options abound for nearly everything. From diverse product variations to numerous career paths, the array of choices complicates the selection process, increasing the likelihood of post-decision discontent. To mitigate this, it's essential to articulate your preferences before assessing available options. Failing to document your preferences or adhering to them leaves you susceptible to regrettable decisions. Maintaining a preference list facilitates informed decision-making. Even after formulating and adhering to a preference list, guard against succumbing to outcome bias, a cognitive error that evaluates decisions based on outcomes rather than the decision-making process itself. When confronted with unexpected outcomes despite adherence to your preferences, refrain from regretting the decision. Instead, focus on evaluating the decision-making process rather than the outcome. Number 6. Reject the blame game. Assume accountability for your circumstances. In moments of success, we often claim full credit, even though our achievements typically involve contributions from others. Conversely, when faced with failure, we tend to shift blame onto external factors, avoiding personal responsibility. This bias is evident in the comments of business leaders within annual reports, where success is frequently attributed solely to the CEO's qualities, with minimal acknowledgement of the team's efforts. In contrast, during periods of failure, leaders may deflect accountability onto external entities such as the government or economic conditions. This tendency to attribute success internally and failure externally is known as the self-serving bias, driven by our innate desire for self-affirmation. Admitting mistakes requires emotional maturity, yet many opt to assign blame elsewhere. Within intimate relationships, the self-serving bias can prove detrimental if unchecked. Partners often overestimate their own contributions while underappreciating those of their significant other, leading to emotional strain. To combat the self-serving bias, seek objective feedback from trustworthy individuals, even if they may be critical. Refrain from disputing their evaluations and instead reflect on instances where weaknesses were evident, taking proactive steps for improvement. Number 7. Conquering the urge for immediate action, embrace patience. Have you ever found yourself eager to act in a situation, only to realize later that refraining from action was the wisest choice? Our inclination towards action is deeply ingrained. Even in uncertain or unfamiliar circumstances, we often resist the idea of inactivity as a suitable response. The tendency for action often stems from inexperience, thus, overcoming it requires drawing from the insights of others. For instance, in a professional environment, upon receiving a recent promotion to a higher position, encountering a novel challenge may prompt a rush to address it swiftly. The instinct is to tackle the issue immediately, fearing it may escalate if left unattended. Reluctance to seek guidance from more seasoned colleagues may stem from a desire to appear competent. However, acting hastily, especially when navigating unfamiliar territory, can yield detrimental outcomes. Instead, it's prudent to exercise patience and observe the situation before taking action. Alternatively, seeking advice from experienced individuals who have encountered similar scenarios can provide invaluable insights. Final summary and key message. Thinking errors stem from our evolutionary tendencies and personal life experiences. Avoiding them is crucial as they can lead to consequences ranging from mild to disastrous. The initial step towards prevention is awareness, as you can only evade what you recognize. Familiarizing yourself with cognitive errors and acknowledging your susceptibility to them can prevent unwitting succumbing. While the cognitive errors outlined in this summary aren't exhaustive, they represent the primary pitfalls people often encounter unknowingly. Clearer thinking parallels Michelangelo's sculpting technique. Focus on the desired image and eliminate everything that doesn't align with it. While the factors contributing to individual success, happiness, or fulfillment vary, recognizing and avoiding impediments to these goals is paramount. Actionable advice. Take pen and paper and delineate behaviors or patterns that hinder success and happiness. Commit to minimizing their presence in your daily life. Congratulations on completing Day 7 of the 100 Days 100 Books Challenge journey. You've taken a big step towards personal growth and knowledge enhancement. But remember, this is just the beginning of an exciting adventure filled with learning and discovery. Don't forget to subscribe to continue this amazing journey with us. We have a lot more books, insights, and inspiration waiting for you in the days ahead. See you in the next chapter of the 100 Days 100 Books Challenge. Keep listening and exploring.